Bronze Raz MMA back again. It has been such a long time since I last made a video. I know some of you guys are probably wondering, like, where did I go to? Did I just disappear? Am I alive? I am very much alive. I have been keeping up with the sport of MMA, kickboxing, boxing in general, so I know everything that's been going on. I just had to take some time off, but I'm back again, and I know all the big UFC fights that have been happening, and I've missed Edwards, Covington, DDP, Strickland, and just to let you guys know, I think DDP won, but I could probably make a video on that if you guys so hope. So whatever, however many 70-ish subscribers, those of you who care, I'm back. I hope to be a bit more consistent now, and what better way to be consistent than with a fight that I'm genuinely so excited for, which is Takeru Segawa's first fight in ONE FC against Superlek, which was supposed to be Rotting, which I'll get into. But this fight is happening on Sunday, January 28th, which is just a couple of days away, and I wanted to break down how I think the fight's going to go, how I think Superlek gets it done, or how I think Takeru Segawa gets it done. I am rooting for Takeru. I am just a big K1 kickboxing fan in general. He's one of the greatest kickboxers on the world, probably the most dangerous kickboxer, but then you have Superlek, so let's get into it. 165 is Superlek versus Takeru. This was supposed to be Rotting versus Takeru, but he had to pull out due to an injury. Superlek is taking this on a short notice. Takeru's last fight was against Tenshin Nasukawa. For those of you who don't know, Nasukawa is probably the best pure kickboxer in the world, but what happened was that he just retired pretty recently, and now he's taking boxing more seriously because, well, most of you guys will know he was 19 years old when he fought Floyd Mayweather in boxing and he got embarrassed. I still believe that if that was a kickboxing fight, Tenshin would have knocked Floyd out clean. He's one of the best kickboxers in the world, and even at 19, I really don't doubt it. But I guess he just wants to spend more time in boxing now. But that was Takeru's last fight, and when he fought Tenshin Nasukawa, it was a super fight in kickboxing, and Takeru actually lost. I think he got knocked down once as well, which you don't really see with Takeru, but he did lose to Nasukawa, whereas Superlek's last fight was against Rotting, and it's important to note that Rotting actually fought Nasukawa as well, and Nasukawa beat Rotting. I thought I would just bring that up, but Superlek fought Rotting, and a lot of people actually felt Rotting won, and that's kind of how the Rotting-Nasukawa fight went, where it was kind of mixed, where some people were like, yeah, Nasukawa deserved it, but Rotting, but that's for another day. What I'm trying to say is that Superlek did come off of a win, regardless of whether you agree or not. Both of these guys, Takeru's coming off of a loss, Superlek's coming off of a win, so there's some momentum with Superlek. But Takeru, the difference is that Takeru had a full preparation for this. Now, I know kickboxing and MMA kind of taking fights on short notice are different, but he is still taking this on a bit of a short notice, whereas Takeru is fully prepared. Both of these are kickboxers at the highest level, as in these guys will kick a lot, as the name implies. These are not just boxers with a few kicks here and there. These guys are really kick heavy. And one thing to note, which is kind of interesting, is that Takeru is the older man, but he only has 40-ish fights, whereas Superlek has 100-ish fights. Superlek is like 28. Takeru is about 32. But one thing that is worth noting is that even though Superlek may have a lot more fights, that's kind of the thing in Thailand, right? Like, these guys fight so many times, often in smaller promotions, in smaller venues, whereas Takeru has been fighting his 40-ish fights. I mean, he's been in K1 for so long, fighting the best competition like Nasukawa and all these other guys who are... Now, Nasukawa's rising, but they did a joint collaboration, and he's been fighting the best of the best. So even though he only has 40 fights to Superlek's 100-ish, don't forget it for a second that Takeru is at the highest level of kickboxing. Now, I've gotten all that out of the way. I kind of just want to talk about their fighting styles and how I think the fight's kind of going to go. Superlek is very technical, very smart fighter. He doesn't just stand there and go wild. He's called the kicking machine for a reason. He has very hard leg kicks, very hard round kicks. So one thing you need to understand about kick-heavy styles is you need space. You're not going to be throwing leg kicks or roundhouse kicks in the pocket. Now, you may. Some guys do, and even Superlek will. But if you're trying to throw those kicks, you want space between you and your opponent. One thing I've noticed watching his videos, his fights, is that when he's facing pressure, he'll hand fight, and he moves back in a straight line, and when he's up against the cage, he'll move out. So he is not a guy who fights well on the back foot. I don't see him throwing insane counter shots, counter cross hooks, or anything like that. He kind of just backs up. He'll look for the clinch. If he can't get the clinch, he's just going to roll out of the way. So he's not a guy who fights when it comes to being pressured. He's not going to be counter-striking. He's going to be looking for a way to get out and to start attacking from range. He does have great knees to the body as well, so I could see him definitely... Now, this is kickboxing rules, it's not Muay Thai, so no elbows, which is going to hurt, I think, Superlek a lot. He has some nasty elbows, but he does have great knees, and I'm pretty sure knees are still allowed in kickboxing rules. Just the clinching is slightly different. I think they don't let you clinch as long or whatever, but he'll still look for the clinch and get those knees as well. Now, when it comes to how I think Superlek's in a fight and what he needs to do to win, he needs to create distance from Segawa. Takeru is very pressure forward. He likes to come forward, make it a brawl. Superlek's goal is going to be to not allow him to do that, to keep distance from him and focus on those sharp leg kicks. I mean, this guy's entire reservoir of moveset is like jab, leg kick, body kick, jab, cross, kick this, kick that. Like, he's throwing kicks with almost every combination, and that's going to be very difficult, as you see like in this video where you see him not really trying to counter strike with him as much as push the opponent away and look for those big strikes. And that's kind of the fighter that Superlek is, and he's going to need to be careful of Segawa's pressure, because what he's gonna try to do is come forward, trudge, and just try to make this a barn fight with Superlek. Tension stays calm and composed and was uninterested. So this was going back to the Takeru Tension fight. Takeru's first fight in such a long time was against Nasukawa, who was not interested in brawling with him. He was jabbing, out, in, out. He was being really smart and technical, which we can probably bet on Superlek being as well. And I've even read, I think, an interview of Superlek's where he said as well that he's not really intimidated by his style. Tension he laid the groundwork of how to beat Takeru, which is by being smart and composed, and jab, throwing a leg kick when Takeru starts coming forward, moving around, and that's kind of going to be what Superlek needs to do to win. Takeru does have defensive flaws. He ate so many jabs off of Nasukawa without really even trying to defend, so he does have some defensive flaws over there, and this could be what's the word? It could be exposed by Superlek as it was by Tension. So, short story, Superlek just has to fight smart and intelligent here. His goal is going to be that when he's getting pushed back, I'll explain this a bit more when I talk about Takeru's fighting style, but for Superlek, who also likes to hand fight a lot. I don't think I put that over here. He's really good at hand fighting, which isn't as easy when you have huge boxing gloves as when you have MMA gloves, but he's really good at that as well. But in general, what Superlek needs to do, he needs to keep his range. He's going to have to be throwing his leg kicks, his body kicks, his roundhouse kicks, all of those stuff, and he's going to be needing space from Takeru to do that, whereas Takeru's going to be coming forward, be trying to make this a brawl like he likes it. And for Superlek, it's going to be simple. When he's on the back foot, he's going to be looking for his clinches, looking for the knees, separate, move around, keep himself busy like that. And if he could do that, I could see him winning by a decision, or who knows, a TKO. Takeru's a pretty hard guy to put away, but that's how I think Superlek should go about it, and how he's probably going to go about it if he's looking for the victory here. Moving on now to Takeru Segawa, who is as I've mentioned, probably my favorite kickboxer. One of my favorite fighters overall. I've been following him since K1. He's so fun to watch. He's such a great fighter. I think he was ranked number one best kickboxer in the world or something like that. Excuse me. It was either him and Nasukawa was up there as well. And of course, when you got Glory as well with Rico Verhoeven and all those guys, it's kind of hard who's the best overall kickboxer. But when it comes to Japan and K1, it's hard to find somebody better than him. He's a pressure fighter. He's very pressure. He fights moving forward. He overwhelms his opponent with strength and volume. So he's a very pressure forward movement fighter. He's going to keep moving forward, trudging forward. He uses his kicks a lot. Like I mentioned, this is a battle of two guys with insane power in their kicks. Segawa more so uses it for teeps to the body and front kicks. So he also uses his roundhouse kicks, his leg kicks. But when it comes to kind of pushing the opponent back and allowing space so he can come forward, he uses teeps to the body and front kicks. He has a will take one to throw one type of style, so you see this with Rotting as well. And we saw that Superlek was able to get a win over Rotting, but a lot of people again thought Rotting won, and Segawa and Rotting are kind of similar in styles. Now I get it, that was Muay Thai, but it'll be interesting to see how that translates to kickboxing, how well Superlek will be able to do that. One thing to note as well in the Rotting fight was that Superlek was very tired as the fight was going on, as the fight neared the end, whereas with Rotting, he was coming forward. I'm interested to see how that's going to work with Segawa, who's going to be pushing forward. Superlek's going to be having to do a lot of the moving, so I'm kind of curious how he'll be able to put up with that. He uses his teep to push his opponent back. He'll use it to feint as well. So that's one thing you have to watch with Segawa. He's going to throw his teep out a couple of times. He's going to fake it, and then he's going to throw like a roundhouse kicks, which he does really well. Against Superlek, he's going to want to close in the distance and focus on in-the-pocket fighting. Again, these guys are both really high-level kickers. But when it comes to straight punch-for-punch boxing, I'm going to go and put my confidence in Segawa. He has really heavy hands. He hits really hard. And again, he's like Rotting. You can hit him, but he's going to stay in front of you. He's going to keep throwing. So if he wants to win this, I could see him using his kicks to kind of push Superlek back. Not really give Superlek the opportunity to get started on anything, right? As soon as he gets started, a teep, a leg kick, and then immediately go in for the in the pocket sort of dirty boxing that Segawa likes. One thing though is that Takeru, despite being a great boxer himself and having maybe not great, but like a good boxer, he does struggle with great boxing. And when I mean great boxing, I should be more specific and mean kind of like a technical style like Tenshin had with the jabs, just focusing on distance control. He struggles with that. With that being said, I don't know if Superlek has the capability to do that as well. Again, he is much more known for his kicks. He's the kicking machine. And when it comes to dealing with kicks, I have a lot more confidence in Takeru being able to deal with that than with the boxing. So, again, he's going to need to close the distance and pressure Superlek. Superlek's going to try to clinch, kick, move about. Takeru's goal here is going to be relying a lot on his teeps to the body. Anytime Superlek is threatening anything, showing anything, immediate teep, front kick body, moving for the pressure in the pocket fighting. Let Superlek kind of tire himself out by trying to move about, keep the distance, and that's what Takeru needs to do to win. And I could see Takeru winning by decision. Again, does he finish Superlek? You're dealing with these smaller guys who don't hit as hard as the heavier guys. Now, Takeru does hit pretty hard, but seeing a knockout at this level isn't as common as the heavier guys. But if there's one guy I'm going to bet on to get a TKO KO, and I might sound crazy for saying this, but if you haven't watched Takeru, you might think I'm crazy, but I could bet on Takeru getting the finish here, especially if he's improved since his fight with Nasukawa, and he's a young guy, I'm sure he has. And when it comes to me personally, I do think I'm going to go lean towards Segawa getting this done, as long with the fact that this is kind of a short notice for Superlek. I could see Segawa having a lot more preparation for this, and again, different styles completely. Rotting, Superlek, completely different styles. But I do think that for Segawa, he would struggle more with Rotting, who can kind of match his style, and kind of he struggles with more technical fighters like Tenshin Nasukawa. Rotting's not as technical, not to say he isn't, he of course is, but he's much more brawling. And I feel like Segawa would be kind of 50-50 with Rotting, whereas with Superlek, he has a better chance, especially since Superlek's not really a crazy high-level technical boxer as much as he is a high-level Muay Thai fighter, a high-level kicking machine. And I could see Segawa dealing with that, but it's a close fight either way. It's a fantastic fight. Shout out to One for doing this. I mean, stuff like this makes me want to keep up with what they're doing. And a Segawa signing is a fantastic choice. If you follow kickboxing, you know what I mean. Congrats to One for this. And yeah, I mean, we're just trying to be a fighting fan, right? With the Strickland DDP amazing title fight to this, and now we're going up. We're in UFC. We're going to be having Volkanovski and Topuria. UFC 300's coming. There's so much going on in the world of fighting. So yeah, I mean, what more can I say? Are you guys excited for this? Because I am. Let me know in the comments. You agree, you disagree, anything you'd like to add, anything you think I got wrong. And yeah, I'm going to be doing this a lot more often from here on out. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.